Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for investing your time with us this evening. My name is Rashmi and I'm from greytHR and today's moderator of this session. So I'm sure all of you are eager to start this session, waiting for to get the heads up and all of that. So your wait is ending here because now we are going to start this session. Well, to talk about our today's topic, every year during this time, employees are asked to submit their proofs so that the employer can deduct the right amount of TDS from their salaries. So employers are required to cut TDS every year, and this deduction can be more or less than necessary depending on the correctness or accuracy of the proof submitted by the employees. So managing this process can be extremely taxing for the HR professionals. So apart from managing this entire process of POI, they need to face the wave of questions that come in from their employees and guide them through. So in this session, we have with us Mr. Dilip Thakkar, a veteran in payroll and compliance, to discuss various aspects of submission of proof of investment and how we can handle it with more efficiency. So I'll tell you more about our esteemed speaker today. But before that, I would like to take you through a brief on how our session goes. So we start off this session with the introduction of our today's expert speaker, and then we open the forum for Q&A. So you can then put across your questions in the question box of the Zoom control panel. I'll take them up live here and discuss it with our speaker. Also, this session is currently being recorded and the same will be shared with all of you once it is done. Now, to tell you more about our esteemed speaker, Mr. Dilip Thakkar, he is an MBA in HR with over 40 years of work experience in corporate sector, of which 35 years with Voltas Limited, Mumbai, as head payroll and compliance. He has also been a local ethics counselor and retired as assistant general manager FNC. So as a head of payroll, he has implemented SAP HCM, employee self-service, that's ESS portal, and has been instrumental in automating and integrating HR ESS to payroll and SAP FI. So he has led a team catering to 8,000 employees of Voltas, India and overseas in payroll, personal taxation, tax planning, personal finance, compliance. Also, he was a member of various CFT with HR on policy formulation, PMS rollout, etc. So it's an honor to have you, sir. Welcome to this session.
Thank you so much, Rashmi, for the good introduction. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Yes. So, dear audience, without any further delay, let's start off our discussion today. So first of all, since we are today going to talk about proof of investment, I would like to hear from you the very basic question all of us, including our audience, have it today. What is proof of investment and why is it so important? Why is POI submission is so significant to all of us?
Basically, proof of investment, it goes with the income tax budget session from finance minister, where she gives the details of the tax changes and all. Once the tax changes are there, we take a declaration from the employees saying that where and how much they are going to invest and all. Subsequent to that, we input those declaration in our system, and whereby based on the tax structure, we deduct the income tax. Once having deducted income tax in the month of December and January, we request the employees to give the proofs of investments. Based on that, we deduct the income tax. So if the proofs of investment are not sent properly, then in that case, the employees face the issues of higher deduction of income tax, etc. So sending the proofs of investment properly is very important.
Sure, sir. So I think that sets a proper context to our today's discussion. So since we are already talking about POI submission and how important it is, let's talk about it from the HR's end now. So managing this entire process can be quite taxing for the HR professionals, and there's every possibility of missing out something while juggling between too many things. So could you please tell us how we can have a checklist to manage the POI process and ensure that we do everything on time to avoid last minute hiccup?
See, the checklist for the HR people, they have to first to receive the declaration in a systematic manner, and they should first educate the employees saying that how to fill up the forms. If it is a physical form, if it is a digitization, then where to fill what and all. That's very important. They should put the employee code properly on the investment declaration forms. Subsequent to that, even if there is a digitization, they should fill the digitization form properly, and they should adhere to the timelines of the HR or payroll department, which is given for submission of declaration as well as for the submission of the investment proofs and all. And even for the HR department, they should systematically not keep anything pending with them, whereas they should complete all their task of submission of declaration in the system properly. And then when the proofs come, they have to diligently check the proofs properly so that the employees don't suffer anything.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So the next question that we have for you is, what are the common mistakes that employees can make while submitting these investment declarations?
While submitting the investment declaration, employees do not give realistic picture. Basically, they try to give all types of investment at the beginning of the year itself, saying that they will avail maximum advantage of the tax laws and all. But then subsequently, during the time of investing, they cannot invest in all the sections, because if they have taken a loan, housing loan, only then they will be able to give the interest on housing loan. Otherwise, they will not be able to give actually. And if they have taken education for their daughters and all, if the interest is paid, only then they get the benefit of those sections. But at the beginning of the year, if they put all the sections and all the benefits and all, then end of the year they face the issue. And one more issue is there where the rental premises is taken, but the landlord do not have a PAN number. So before taking the rental premises, the employee should check with the landlord saying that they have got a PAN number in place, and if the agreements documents are properly made and all. One more thing, I remember that in case of LIC, the parents' LIC is not allowed for deduction, but employees do claim that also, and subsequently that gets deleted from the list of investments, and they face higher deduction in the month of January, February, March. So also interest on housing loan mentioned, do not get, if they don't get the possession of the flat, then they are not eligible for the interest on housing loan deduction. So these are the few common mistakes that employees make.
Okay, thank you, sir. This was very insightful. So following that, my next question to you is, what are the important tax-saving investment or expenditure proofs that employees need to submit? We would also like to know about the documents that need to be shared in the form of hard copies.
Yeah. So in case of section 80C, where the maximum deduction is 1,50,000, the life insurance corporation, where the receipts needs to be submitted. If it is the public provident fund, then once again the deposit slip or a bank statement is required. In case of national savings certificate, you have to take the certificate from the post office, which needs to be submitted. ULIP payments, ELS payments, that is equity linked savings scheme, then education fees for their daughters or son, wherever it is, repayment of housing loan, that is a certificate from the bank or financial institutions, then contribution to provident fund, bank deposit. Normally in bank deposit, any bank deposit is not allowed. That is a specified 5-year bank deposit for ETC benefits, which is mentioned on the bank deposit, only that should be submitted. Then Sukanya Samriddhi is something that is new now. So they can invest in Sukanya Samriddhi scheme also. Then in case of ETCCD, that is National Pension Scheme, 50,000 rupees can be invested. Then they're taken a mediclaim policy. For self and family, it is 25,000. If the employee is above 60 years, then 50,000. In case of senior parents, it is 50,000. So over here, the employee can avail of 1 lakh or 75,000 as the case may be. So that is one thing. And in case of expenses also like LTA, leave travel assistance, if they spend any money and all, they should preserve all those documents and all, then submit to HR department for claiming the tax benefits. Then medical treatment for dependent, where 75,000 amount is allowed. In case of severe disability, it is 1,25,000. Then 80DDB, it is for the self, that is specified diseases, where 40,000 for normal below age of 60. In case of senior citizen, it is 1 lakh. Then in case of polio, etc., under section 80U, 75,000 is allowed. And in case of severe disability, it is 1,25,000. And 80E, that is interest on housing loan, which I already spoke earlier, that any amount of interest paid on housing education loan is allowed. And then this is the laundry list, madam. That is all that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for enlightening us. Sir, another question from my end. So you have been handling this for 40 plus years now. So would you like to share from your experience a few challenging scenarios in submitting POI and how to handle them?
Yeah, basically, whenever the proof of investment comes to us, we always tell the employees, do not give in pieces actually, or in parts actually, so that if the documents comes in one bunch, it is easy for the HR department or payroll department to check and all. They should put the name properly. They should put the employee code properly. And normally, if the documents are not accurate or incomplete information, ultimately who suffers? The employee only suffers actually. So we request them to submit the proofs properly. Like in case of mutual fund or bank deposit, which can be considered for ATC deduction, but all mutual funds and all bank deposits are not considered. So employee, when they invest, they should read specifically and then invest in which schemes they're investing, or take advice from someone. Then sometimes the documents are not available with the employees also. The main reason is either they are traveling for office work or they're on leave and all. And so they send it subsequently and all. So we request them to plan their own calendar for the year and then submit it in time and all. Then sending part investment is very dangerous. Inaccurate, incomplete proof submission is also very dangerous. Sometimes the employee is staying in the house rental house, but he doesn't have agreement with them. So without the agreement, the HR department or payroll department doesn't allow that benefit of rent exemption. Then landlord's PAN number, as I mentioned, it is very important. Many a times the employees fail to submit the proofs on the due dates and all, due to which the HR department starts deducting the tax at a higher rate, and then subsequently they come running once they get the salary, saying that I have received less money and all. So that time once again is a challenge for an employee as well as for the employer. How to do? They have to rerun the payroll and all before making the payment of the taxes and all. If the tax is already paid to government, then he has to claim refund by filing income tax return and all.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. So I think this helps our audience a lot. So now, without any further delay, I think we can now head towards our audience questions. So dear audience, I'm now heading towards the second and the most important part of our today's session, that is Q&A. Now, time is all yours. So start putting across your questions on whatever we have discussed, and anything you would like to hear from Mr. Dilip about proof of investment and the details about it. You can put across your questions in the Q&A option of Zoom control panel. We will take them up live here and try and answer them. So I can already see few of our participants have put across the questions. So let me take them up one by one, sir. So our first question is it mandatory to attach the hard copy of the PAN card of landlord and only PAN number does not suffice?
It is better to attach the hard copy of the PAN card so that the HR department can check whether the PAN card is proper. If they give any other PAN number, then how do we check it actually? So it is always advisable to give the PAN card.
Sure, got it. So I hope this is clear. And the next question from our participant is, where this POI, that is proof of identity, is required. Is that Aadhaar card following the compliance as per the government norms?
Proof of identity is for PAN card is important in case of income tax rules and all. Aadhaar card at the moment, it should be linked with the PAN card so that when they file the return, it is goes smoothly actually. Because income tax department doesn't accept income tax returns without the PAN card is linked to Aadhaar card.
Right.
And for proof of investment, they can give both also, but PAN card is more important.
Sure. Okay. And the next question is, should employees submit rental agreement for claiming HRA, which is more than 1 lakh?
Yes, it is a mandatory rule from income tax department. They have specified that they have to give agreement. They also have to give the proof of rent payment as well. And they have to give a PAN card of the landlord.
Sure, sir. Okay. And also, sir, I remember we were talking about what are the important expenses or something that we can claim in our POI and all of that. So there's one question related to that from one of our participants whose question is, can someone claim medical expenses of spouse?
Medical expenses of spouse, he can claim, but it is only restricted to 5,000 rupees towards health checkup actually.
Okay, so keeping that limit in mind, I think we can still claim for the benefit of that.
But
Sure.
But in case of insurance, for self and family it is 25,000, and if the employee himself is above 60 years, then the limit is 50,000. In case of senior citizen, it is additional 50,000. So 50,000 plus 50,000 becomes 1 lakh of ATD benefit the employee gets.
Sure. Yes. So I think all the details of this fall under section ATD. So we can definitely check out there. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. And also, since we are already talking about medical expenses, our other attendee has a question. Under which section can we claim the benefit for the medical expenses incurred on the dependent parents? And what is the maximum amount that can be claimed? What documents need to be submitted by the assessee? So I think it's just the elaborative question about what we just discussed.
Yeah, in case of medical treatment for dependent, it is under section 80DD, where you have to, it is 75,000 rupees in normal, and it is severe disability is 1,25,000. He has to go to his doctor will give the certification along with all the bills and all. Then he has to go to a government doctor who will certify that, and he has to fill up the necessary forms for claiming the benefits.
Okay, sure. So I hope that answers the question. And the next one is about POI window, sir. As we are nearing the financial year end, so I think this question has come up here. So the question is, what should we do if we close the POI window on 31st Jan 2022, but employee says our LIC due date is on March 2022? Should we allow the same to employee?
So in that case, we have to take the investment proofs which he has invested last year as a temporary proof for year for the time being, and in the month of March we can take the final proof from it.
Yeah. So if they happen to take it in the month of March, sir, you still say that the POI window is not closed then. right?
No,
So
no,
that
no, no.
is still.
No, as far the POI window is closed for the input of the amounts in the system and all. However, since he submitted the old proof, the HR department will have to keep a track of saying this is the old proof, which was to replaced by the new proofs actually for the year. Because
Yes.
income tax department will not allow the old proofs, but however, we as HR department are knowing our employees, we can trust the employee saying yes, he is going to invest in the month of March and is not going to run away. So we can take last year's proof and keep it with us and then replace with the new proof. So POI window is also closed. At the same time, employees getting the benefit and everything is a win-win situation.
True, true, very true, sir. Yes. Okay. And sir, since we were already talking about the section 80D, one of our participants has asked us this question. Under section 80D, can we claim deduction of medical bills if it is paid for senior citizen?
Yeah, they can claim up to 50,000 rupees if it is paid for senior citizen. It is either insurance or medical treatment up to 50,000.
Great. Okay. So next thing is we have an interesting question. It is about electric vehicles. So one of our participants would like to know what are the tax benefit on purchase of electric vehicles and what are the condition around that?
In case of electrical vehicle, government has come out with a deduction of 1,50,000 would be allowed as an individual in respect of loan taken for purchase of vehicle during the year, current year. But we have to take the all the documents properly from the employee who is going to submit this and claim the benefit.
Okay, but definitely there is a tax benefit on this.
Yeah. It is a deduction actually. It is a section is 80 EEB.
Okay. Section 80 EEB. Great.
D.
Yeah. All right. And next one is about HRA, sir. So for HRA, if rent paid per month is more than 10,000, then should we take proof of payment? Since as per Income Tax Act, any cash payment more than 10,000 is not allowed.
No, cash payment is not allowed. The payment has to be made by either by online or it was to be made by the check only. However, limit of up to 8,000, even if he pays by cash and all, the HR department can accept it actually. But a lot of companies doesn't accept, saying that you have to make the payment by check or it has to be online payment.
Okay, sure. All right. So in the similar lines, for HRA tax claim, is the rent agreement mandatory in case of the rent paid is below 1 lakh per annum?
It is better to have rent agreement and the rent receipt both actually, because in case the Income Tax department says, give the proofs, it is not written in the Income Tax department, you need not submit the proofs actually. So in case of any queries for income tax, better to have everything in place actually.
Sure. Okay. And sir, one of our participants have asked us to explain the claim of insurance of own and for the parents.
Claim of insurance in case of own, it is up to 25,000. If you are not a senior citizen, if you are senior citizen, then it is 50,000. In case of parents, it is another extra 50,000 rupees. So both put together, it is 1 lakh. In case of parents, 50,000 can be allowed.
Okay, sure. Okay. And next question is about housing loans. So proof of investment for housing loan EMI is how much? So I think this is a bit of incomplete question.
It is interest on housing loan. It is 2 lakhs rupees. Up to 2 lakhs rupees is allowed. And the proof says, you have to get a certificate from either, if you have taken a loan from HDFC or any other financial institution, you have to take the certificate from them, and which should have a mention of your name, your address details, and also the lender's PAN number and address.
Sure, sir. Yeah. And also, sir, the extension of this question is regarding home loan itself. can we claim under all the three sections? That is section 80C, home loan principal amount, section 24, interest on home loan, and section 80EE and 80EEA? Or is it something like we can claim only under two sections, that is section 80C and section 24, or section 80C and section 80EE or EEA? So the combination
in case of section 80EE, it should not, you should not have any other residential property anywhere actually. It should be the first loan only, and the maximum deduction is 50,000 is allowed in addition to 80C and section 24 also. But this should be a first property, and the loan taken should not exceed 35 lakhs. There are some conditions. If the conditions are allowed, followed properly, then he can claim everywhere. So he can claim 2 lakhs over there, additional 50,000 towards under section 80EEE, and he can claim 1,50,000 if he has paid a housing loan also. So it is allowed, provided his documents are properly and it is within the dates are followed.
Sure, sir. Okay. And the other participant has a question on the 12BB, Form 12BB, sir. So for previous employment, Form 12BB is must, or only payslips of the respective month is sufficient?
Come again, I didn't hear. Come again.
So the question is whether for the previous employment, whether the Form 12BB is a mandatory thing, or can we just manage it with the payslips of the respective months?
No, for the previous employer, he has to give a provisional tax certificate from the previous employer, and that tax certificate will say how much salary has earned earlier and how much was the tax deduction. And so also, if any investments is done over there, then he'll not get those investments in this new company. Like in case of if he has submitted loans, investment proofs over there, and he's got the benefit of 1,50,000. then he'll not get additional 1,50,000 over here. So when the both the company's income is clubbed and you do the recalculation of income tax, then he pays the appropriate tax.
Okay, all right. So another common question we get on the LIC policies. So the question is, can employee claim exemption on spouse LIC policy if the policy is on spouse name?
He can claim the LIC spouse policy provided the spouse is dependent upon him, and but he'll get totally 1,50,000 of deduction under section 80C.
Okay, so that is the maximum limit.
Yeah. But in this case, it's very important that spouse doesn't have any other income. It's very important.
Okay, so has to be shown as dependent, only then can claim it.
Right.
Got it. Okay. And next question, should it be updated EPF deduction while submitting POI in greytHR ESS portal? So I think this is something related to our portal. But sir, in general, what do you suggest? Whether EPF deduction has to be submitted here?
Yeah, you can submit actually EPF deduction. There is extra contribution to Provident Fund, and you can submit. And while calculation, the system takes care of this total Provident Fund, whether it is extra contribution or it is a mandatory contribution.
Correct, right, sir. Yes, thank you so much, sir. And also, generally, the answer to this question with respect to greytHR ESS portal, I think we have a provision where by default the EPF deduction is calculated for the POI. Probably you can just cross that once, and it should be applicable by default. And if it is not, then please do get in touch with our support team. We can definitely work out on this.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
All right. Okay, sir. Sir, next question. Employees who have switched the companies in the middle of the financial year, that is 2021 and 22, and have declared their investment to the previous employer, do they have to declare the same with the new employer once again? And what are the tax implications if they declare it again or if they don't declare it? So they would like to know both the scenarios.
One is when the employee comes to the new company, the HR department will ask the investments made during the year, whether you have made along submitted in the previous company or not. So basically, the HR department or payroll department verifies the investment details and then recalculates the tax, actually taking both the income properly and to calculate the appropriate taxation. So it is mandatory to submit a new company also.
All right. So it is a mandatory thing. There's no question of not submitting. So please do plan accordingly. And sir, next question is around the gift vouchers and the food coupons, which we usually get as perks from the employers and all of that. So the question is, are gift voucher and food coupons received exempt for employee who has opted under section 115 BAC?
Yeah, it is exempt up to the within the given limit. It is up to 5,000 rupees is exempt.
Sure. Okay, so we do get the exemption, but please keep the maximum limit in the mind. It is up to 15,000. All right. Okay. So what happens if the employee is not willing to declare her previous employment income? Please guide on this.
If is not willing to declare previous employee's income.
Previous employment income, yes.
Then our company will deduct the tax based on without considering previous employer's tax and all. But when employee files the income tax return, he has to take both the company's income and file appropriately, and he'll land up paying more tax, higher tax at the end of the year with interest and all other things. So he'll be a loser in this case if he doesn't give in time to the new employer. He'll pay under section interest under section 234 ABC.
Sure, sir. So I hope that clears the confusion. And sir, since you are talking to us about gift voucher and food exemption, we just discussed that the maximum limit is up to 5,000, right? So one of our attendees would like to know, 5,000 maximum limit is for the entire year or is it monthly?
It is for the entire year. In case of gift coupon, it is 5,000 for the entire year. In case of food, it is 50 rupees per meal. If the company gives 2 meals, then it is 100 rupees exempt per day, multiplied by number of days they work actually. So in certain company, it is 2,200 rupees exempt per month, and gift vouchers is separated.
Okay, so these have to be considered as two different components here.
Yes, yes.
Sure, sir. Okay. All right. And next question is around the donations, sir. So can an employer give the deduction for donation which is made by the employee, or does the employee has to claim it while filing the ITR return?
Employee has to claim it while filing the ITR return. Donation is not allowed under salary deductions.
Yes, so I think that was a very important question. So I hope that is answered now. And sir, since we were talking about the spouse claiming the insurance and all of that, there's a question similar to that, but this is about investment. So the question is, if the husband invests, but he has reached his limit of Section 80C, can the working wife take the deduction even if she has not paid for it? For example, school fees of children.
No, it's not allowed. It is to be paid from the account of the employee or the spouse who wants to claim the deduction. He cannot. The income has to be her or his in order to claim the deduction.
Okay, so you mean to say, sir, it has to be one person.
Right. From others' bank point, you cannot make the payment and claim deduction. That is not allowed, permissible.
All right. Okay. That's clear. So thank you so much. Yeah. And next question is, one of our attendees say, I need to fill exact amount in POI or the estimated one. For example, I have submitted in Sukanya Yojana at rupees 50,000, but was unable to pay in that year. Like I paid just 10,000. Is it an issue?
It will be an issue saying that when he gives the POI, he has submitted less amount of proofs and all. So there'll be extra deduction of tax in the month of January, February, March.
Yes. Okay. So it will be an issue. So please work around it. So next one is about section 80D, the medical expenses. So they have a doubt, like under section 80D, the medical expenses can be claimed. Can you just reconfirm the statement again?
See, in case of medical expenses, I said 5,000 rupees is allowed for health checkup for family. And in case of senior citizen, it is medical treatment or medical expenses up to 50,000 can be claimed. And if the insurance, it is an insurance policy, then it is 25,000 for self and family. If the person is above 60 years, then it is 50,000 instead of 25,000. And for senior parents, it is 50,000.
All right. So
there are too many numbers in that, hence it is a little bit confusing actually, but things are very clear.
Yes, sure, sir. So I think you can also refer to the section 80D components, which give you a better clarity on how the entire thing is calculated and what is the maximum limit for which claim. So I think that clarifies the doubt. So next question is around the purchase of cars. So the question from our attendee is, even on purchase of cars, can the employee get the benefit?
Employee purchase of car, he will not get the benefit, but if it's taken a loan, actually only in that case he gets the benefit.
Okay, so in that case, again, the question gets extended here, sir. If it is vehicle loan, whether they get the exemption, and even if they get, whether it is on the loan amount or the interest amount.
No, it has to be electric vehicle actually, and it is on the loan amount actually, the payment of vehicle.
Okay.
Payment of loan actually.
Okay. So dear attendee, please do keep in mind, first of all, benefit for the purchase of electric vehicles, and even if you get this, it is on your loan amount, not the interest amount. Loan amount as in we refer it to the purchase that you have made, the amount of purchase there happens, so it all depends on that. Right, so hope that answers the question. And sir, next question is around GST. So GST on life insurance and medical insurance, can we claim this?
Can we claim?
Can we claim?
It is the total amount. It is the total amount including GST.
Okay. All right. Okay. And also, sir, there is extension of this now. So LTA exemption against GST goods. So they have given us.
Madam, once again, I apologize for my things. Actually, it is the interest on vehicle loan. Actually, it is not the principal loan.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It is interest on vehicle loan up to 1,50,000 is allowed. It is not principal amount. Interest.
All right. Thank you for the clarification, sir. So I repeat. So this was the answer for the question, that is electric vehicles. Can we get a exemption on that? So first of all, yes, for electric vehicles, you can get the exemption, which is clear. And next thing is whether we get the loan amount or interest amount. So according to our expert speaker today, yes, we do get it exempted, but it is on the interest amount. Right, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for the clarification. So next question is around the LTA exemption. So the question is LTA exemption against GST goods. So they have given a simple scenario here. So the scenario is date is of October 2020 with a GST of 18%. But employee has not claimed LTA more than twice in the block of 4 years. So can that bill of October 2020 be used now in the financial year of 2021 and 22 for gift voucher, which is given to a bunch of people as a team?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. It can be. It is only for that particular year it was allowed.
Okay, so it is only for that particular year, you mean to say?
Yeah.
Okay. And even if it is for that particular year, sir, they would like to know what proportion of it is exempted, like on individual capacity.
There was some amounts mentioned over there. Those amounts only can be claimed actually. When one has to refer the last year's income tax ready reckoner or ready book.
Sure. So I hope that answers. And the next one is employees who have switched the companies in the middle of the financial year, that is 21 and 22. And I think this we have already taken up, but I'll just go through the question once again, sir. So employees who have switched the companies in the middle of the financial year, that is 2021 and 22, and have declared their investment to the previous employer. So do they have to do it again, same with the new employer and the tax implications of it?
Yes, I said we have to do it with the new employer again, and also give us the provisional tax certificate of the previous employer also, the new employer.
Okay. So next one also I think is a repeat question which sir has already told. I'll just take up for the reconfirmation. Can the medicine purchase be claimed for checkup for 5K limit under section 80D?
No, medical purchase cannot be claimed. It is to be a health checkup for 5,000 limit. It is a health checkup. It is not a medical purchase.
All right. So the answer is no. If you have bought a medicine, you will not be able to claim it under our section 80D. Okay. And one of our participants would like to know what are the documents required for section 80G?
80G he cannot submit to employer at all. So he has to claim it directly while he files the return. And the documents he has to take the receipt from the institute where the donation is made.
Okay. All right. So this is mainly with donations. And like sir has already mentioned, anything related to donation, we cannot claim it with the employer. It has to be claimed during the IT returns filing itself. Right. So I hope that clarifies. And next one is about the agriculture land loans. So the question is, can we get agriculture land loan exemption? And if it is yes, then under which section?
No, it's agriculture land loan. It becomes part of the farmer's income and all. That is goes in his own income tax and other things. It has nothing to do with employer salary sections.
Okay. Yes, so it cannot be claimed with the employer. It cannot be part of your income here with the employer. All right. And do we have to collect original documents like school fees paid from employee, or just the scan copy would be enough?
The employee has to keep the original school fees with himself in case of income tax department request him to submit and all. But to the employer, he can submit the scan copies or copies of the bills. He need not submit any of the original documents to the employer except for rent receipt of 2 or 3 months which the employer requested.
Sure, sir. Yes. And next one is if previous employer doesn't issue provisional tax certificate, then what can be done for previous employer income?
The employee has to send a letter to the employer or escalate the matter in the previous company up to MD level and get the certificate.
Okay. All right. So this is the process. And next one is, do the employees need to disclose the capital gain and other sources income which are to be disclosed to the employers?
No, he need not disclose capital gain and other income to the employer. It doesn't fall under purview of the salary sections.
Okay, all right. And sir, we were talking about gift voucher. So this is a slight variation of that. So if the gift vouchers are given to a bunch of people in a team capacity, what is the proportion of exemption in individual capacity?
Individually, it cannot exceed 5,000 rupees per annum.
Okay. All right. So I hope that answers the question. And next one is about the Mediclaim premium, sir. So if we have paid Mediclaim premium and have also purchased medicine for senior citizen, can we claim both deduction under section 80D up to the limit, or only one is allowed?
He can claim up to 50,000. He can claim.
Okay. And it can be combination of both, the premium as well as the medicine.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. And next one is about LTA, sir. So one of our attendees are seeking the explanation on LTA proof submission rules. So if you could just elaborate it to us, would be of great help.
LTA proof submission rules is basically has to submit the travel tickets. May it be for airlines or train, or even it can be for the car and all. But it has to be within India. The travel has to be within India only.
Okay, so for international travel, we cannot expect the LTA submission to work here. But if it is anywhere within the country, then for sure you can submit all the required proofs like your tickets and the expense receipts and all of that, and definitely get the benefit out of it. Yes. So the next question, sir, can the SSC claim both ATEE and ATEEA together? If not, then why?
Basically, ATEE and ATEEA, it has to be one loan only, first loan actually. Both the sections are different sections, and I don't think so he'll come. He can claim both at the same time. Both the sections are different and the requirements are different.
Okay, so you would suggest it is better to claim it as a different thing here. Okay. And next one is about SBI provisional international certificate here, sir. So SBI in their provisional certificate had mentioned two parts in their certificate. One is interest debited to the account during the financial year up to 31st March 2022. And the second part, the B part, is amount which is paid by the customer towards that interest during the financial year up to 31st March 2022. So how does this work?
So if he is not taken it for taxation in the previous year, then he has to take it for taxation. If he is taken, then he has to ignore it.
Okay, and which part of it should be used for claiming the education loan interest? Part A or Part B?
Part A or Part B? I didn't get it.
So I think this is the question related to this education loan interest. So which part should be used for claiming the education loan interest? Part
for the current year, current years. Current year, that is section financial year 21-22.
Okay, all right. So I hope that answers the question. If it is unclear, please elaborate your question so that we can take it up and answer it in a better way. All right. Sir, next question is around medical expenses again. So the question is, can a cancer patient claim for medical expenses under section 80D for self? What is the limit, and does it require any attestation from the government hospital?
For 80DD, under 80DDB, he can claim the benefit. He can claim the benefit. And here, the form number I or form number E needs to fill up by the doctor, and it should be certified by the government doctor. He can claim the benefit.
Okay. All right. So I hope that answers question. First of all, can a patient claim for the expense? Yes, it can be claimed. And for this, the attestation is required, both from your doctor as well as from the government hospital authorities there. All right.
And under section 80DDB, he can claim.
Under section 80DDB. Sir, can you just mention what is the maximum limit? If possible.
Maximum limit is 1 lakh, and it is if it is up to 1 lakh in case of senior citizen, and normal it is 40,000.
40,000. All right. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question here. And so next question is around bank deposit income. So the question is regarding bank deposit income. How is it considered for tax deduction purpose?
Bank deposit, it will go as under other income actually for him, and he gets the benefit of 10,000 rupees as interest exempt.
Okay. So this is the exemption benefit that you get there. So you can definitely make use of it. Okay. And
but it is at the filing while he files the return, not through salary.
Okay. So it cannot be done now during your POI submission, but when you file the ITR, you can definitely get that.
Right.
Okay, great. And next one, sir, since we were talking about Section 80D, can employee claim deduction under Section 80D under Mediclaim if only part premium is paid by him and partly by the company?
Then whatever part payment he is paid, and if he's got the receipt of that part payment, he can claim the benefit.
Okay, and looks like this is interesting question. So yes, you can definitely claim for the deduction for the part that you have paid. Just ensure that you provide the receipts for it. And please do remember that you get the deduction or the benefit out of it only for the part that you have paid. All right. Okay. So, sir, coming back to the question of electric vehicle, the question is, could you please share the list of documents that has to be collected for claiming deduction on electric vehicle? Is the deduction applicable only on interest repayment, or is it also for principal repayment?
It is on interest repayment.
Okay.
And the certificate needs to be taken from the bank or the financial institution.
Okay, so it should either be from the bank or the insurance authorities.
Financial institutions.
Financial institution. Okay, got it. Sorry. All right. So I hope you now have got the clarity. So the list of documents required are this way, and it is on the interest repayment. All right. So the next question, sir. Can employee claim medical bills for parents or senior citizens, even if employee has company medical policy, which includes their parents?
If company medical policy is there, and if he's still and is not claimed any money from the company medical insurance policy, and if he's got the bills over and above that, then he can claim it. But he cannot claim in both the places, and he cannot dually claim from company as well as from the medical, from the sections.
Okay.
It should be only from one side, one place, wherever it is.
Sure. So it has to be either of them. You cannot do it in both the places, and it should be again, if at all not covered under this policy, then maybe you can take help of external source. But if it is covered, then it has to be under this. All right. And next one is about PF claim process, sir. Please explain about the PF claim process. Is this amount also considered under income for taxation?
PF claim, it cannot be considered for taxation because it is his own income. It is an exempt income.
So it cannot be claimed here. But by default, the calculation of this happens during your POI submission. So that is something you can keep in mind. And so one of our attendees would like to know the difference between medical expense and medical insurance. So the question is, how is medical expense different from medical insurance?
See, basically, this medical expenses is only for senior citizen. The reason why government introduced it, because earlier above 80 years and all, there was no insurance available to senior citizens and all. Only up to a certain age, the insurance company used to give the insurance policies. Hence, they introduced this expenses to be allowed and all. So, however, if some certain companies gives the insurance policies, then the premium paid up to 50,000 is exempt. And in case of expenses also up to 50,000, both cannot be 50 and 51 lakhs. It has to be either or both put together 50,000.
Sure. Okay. So a couple of more questions. So dear attendees, we are trying our best to take up all your questions, but if anything was missed out, don't be disappointed. We will definitely share all the required resources for it. And sir, next questions which are lined up here is, this is again something related to bank deposit income. So if bank deposit income received by employee in joint account, who should be paying the tax, like the employee or the wife? Likewise, for recurring deposit in joint account.
Depends if the first name is of the husband, then husband should take it, account it as his income. It depends upon the first name of the person who's the second person need not be take it for taxation, but the first person needs to take it for taxation.
Sure. Okay. And another common question we have is, sir, about let out property, which you also mentioned during the discussion. So the question is, if house property is let out property, can one claim deduction for loan repayment through salary, or it needs to be claimed at the time of filing returns?
If it is a let out property, then he has to take it while he files the return, not at the time of salary. Because in case of let out property, he has to pay extra income tax only, and he need not. Hence, it is his other income.
Sure. Okay. So I hope that answers the question. And there are some questions around the allowances, sir. So the question is, could you please suggest different allowances as a part of the salary, which can be claimed and exempted beside HRA and LTA?
There's no other allowances now. Government has removed all the other allowances, and earlier there used to be a conveyance allowance which used to be exempt, but now that is not allowed. Hence, all allowances are taxable.
All right. Okay. So I hope we have taken a lot of questions today. So I'm going to end this Q&A round now, and also I think we are running short of time. So dear attendees, we have tried our best to answer the questions. I think it was really an interesting session, and sir, I would I'm happy to say here that we have taken up maximum questions today. Thanks for your expertise. And also, dear attendees, if any of your questions have gone unanswered, like I already said, please don't be disappointed. You can always reach out to us on our community platform, that is Great Tribe. And here is for that, this Great Tribe is community platform, basically Q&A forum, where many HR professionals just like you are already part of it. And if you have any questions, you can simply post it there, and our experts like Mr. Dilip, Thakkar, and many other industry veterans are already part of it there, and they will definitely answer your questions. Okay, so this is a small attempt of ensuring that we answer your questions. You can also write back to us on sharmishta@greytHR.com. And also, it's been immense pleasure having this discussion with you, sir. Thank you so much for taking out the time for us out of your busy schedule, and for enlightening us everything about the proof of investment.
Thanks, my pleasure.
And, yes. And dear attendees, thank you so much for attending our session and for making it successful. Hope you have found this session helpful and informative, and please feel free to reach out to us for any queries. All right, and like I already mentioned in the beginning of the session, we have recorded the session. We will be definitely sharing the recorded session of the same directly to your inboxes, so not to worry at all. All right, so on this note, looking forward to see you in our upcoming sessions. And once again, Mr. Dilip, sir, thank you so much, and forward to see you in our upcoming sessions.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, dear everyone, please do stay safe and take care of yourself. We'll be looking forward to see you in our upcoming sessions soon. Thank you.
Thank you.